Hello everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm your resident fantasy therapist, and welcome to my channel. Those of you who are brand new, welcome. Those of you who are returning, welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist, but I am also an author working on my first novel. And on my channel, I like to dig into what I consider to be the heart of all writing, which is the characters. The heart of the characters is in their psychology. So that is the angle we take with everything on my channel. We look at it from a psychological angle, which because I feel that really helps to make a more well-rounded world. So today we are digging into the next video in my world building series on culture, and today we're going to talk about food. I know that might seem like an odd topic, but you can tell so much about a culture by their food. I just want you guys to think for a minute. Think of a popular culture either around you or that you've heard of, and see if you don't start thinking of food. Like I've said before, I'm from the South, the American South. Food is so important to us. We have so many traditional dishes, but also the way that food is served, when it is served, to whom it is served. That's all important too. So how can you use this when you're world building? Well, I think first and foremost, the thing to consider is, what are your people most likely to eat? Because not everybody is going to have the same diet, or they should not have the same diet, especially if you're having multiple cultures. I'll give you guys an example from my work in progress. The Natula live up in the snowy and icy region of the world. So there is not a lot of room for growing things. So they rely heavily on like caribou, seal, little rodents like, not wolverines, but little small like squirrel type animals that are always around. They're around year round. And fish. Fish is a big staple of their diet because they live where there is a lot of partially frozen rivers, and so they can access fish most of the year because their fish are always going up and down the streams. Now, if you take the stonemen, for instance, who live in a much more moderate climate, they eat a lot of deer, rabbit. They grow crops, so they're going to have potatoes, green beans, corn, things like that. And they have also evolved to eat minerals. So actually a very popular dish among them is melted silver. And you will have some dishes that include like limestone and crystal and things like that, because in their diet they can eat that. And then of course you have various other cultures, but those are just two examples to kind of give you guys an idea. So then that goes into, okay, now we know what they eat. How do they eat it? Because the way food is prepared is important to cultures as well. A lot of cultures have this kind of role in mind of who prepares the food. That can fall into, like, for example, family or clan roles. Like, is there a specific member of the group that is responsible for cooking the food? Or does everybody pitch in? For instance, my husband, his family, his mother's side is from Latvia. And around Christmas, they get together and they make pea doggies, which, by the way, are amazing. They are these little dough, like biscuit things that are filled with ham and onion and bacon. They're not good for you at all, but they taste amazing. But his family would get together every Christmas, and everybody would work together and make the pea doggies. And it was divided over who did what. So the women would would make the dough, and the men would help stuff them. But The men didn't make the dough, only the women made the dough. And I asked my husband why, and he said, I don't know. He said, I don't know. It's just tradition. Now, I'm sure if we dug into history, we would probably find a reason for that. But I think sometimes that's important to have in your world building is remembering not everybody's going to know exactly why a tradition is there. So, why does mom always cook? I don't know. Moms have always done the cooking. Well, why? I don't know. um, and that's something that can be kind of used to explore is, okay, what is important to pass on and what isn't. So, why the women make the food may not be important, but the fact that they make the food is considered more important. That's going to vary depending on your culture. Um, the other thing is to whom is it served and in what order. I think the what order is kind of fallen out of favor because most of the time when we're looking at the modern day world, generally people will eat together, the families will eat together. But that was not always how it was. In several cultures nowadays, it's still not how it is. Um, I know that with European history, it used to be that the men would eat first because they were the ones that were working. They were the ones that were out in the fields, and so they would eat first to get the energy. Then it would go down to the male children for the same reason. They were able to do more labor, and then so on and so forth down the line. Um, but you could make that more interesting with your culture. You could shift it around. Is there a specific order that people have to eat? Do the elders eat first, for instance, because their wisdom is valued? Do the children eat first because they're the ones that are the next generation? Is there no particular order for who eats first? Is it by social status? If everybody's eating together in a great hall, who is the one that eats first or signals that you can start eating? These are all little rules that we do subconsciously every day because we've gotten used to them. We don't even think about them anymore. With my family in the South, when the whole family got together and gathered at the table, everybody would serve their plate, but you better not take a bite until everybody is sitting. If you did, that was considered very rude. The other thing is that food in the South is equals love. If you love someone, you're going to feed them, and that is kind of, I think that comes from the fact that a lot of families in the South lived through the Great Depression where food was scarce, and so if you loved someone, then they would get some of the very few amount of food that you had. So that was something that was a demonstration of love, and it just stuck. So the history of your world is kind of important when determining these things, but I don't think you necessarily have to know it right off the bat when you're creating your cultures. You can just kind of decide, okay, here's what I'm going to create, and then I'll figure out why it's that way later. Or you could do it the opposite. Some people do it the opposite way. The other thing to keep in mind is what rules are there around food? Are there certain foods that you're not allowed to eat? Are there certain foods that you can only eat at a certain time? Are there rules that you have to do before you can start eating? Let's see, the Natuba have a rule around food in my work in progress, in that food is used as a symbol to demonstrate if you're considered an ally or not. And by that I mean when they first meet with someone and they are invited in. If they present them with food, water, and either bread or vegetable, then they are essentially saying, I will protect you. I recognize that that we're going to support your goals, and I will heal you from illness or injury. If certain elements are missing, so like let's say someone comes in and they are given water and vegetables, but they're not given anything else, that would be a symbol of, okay, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to heal you if you're hurt, but I do not support your goals. And that can be kind of a symbol of, okay, we need to do some more discussion here. Those are just some examples, but something to think about when it comes to food, because I think it's an element that's usually kind of overlooked in stories, or it's focused on too much. Like, I'm not saying you have to describe everything that's on your character's kitchen table. I think that gets a little extreme. But there should be some reference to it and some importance to it. And I think if you do it correctly, you can tell us a lot about your culture in very few words. So that is digging into food in regards to world building. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please leave comments or questions below. I will answer them as soon as I can. I always love looking at them. And so that you guys are aware, this week I will be uploading a video. I'm recording this on Sunday, but I don't believe you guys will get this one till like Thursday. So there will be a video going up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Starting this Friday, I'm going to be doing a week-long Halloween celebration. So each day I will be posting a Halloween-related video, either talking about villains, talking about villain hideouts, talking about how to build tension, things like that. And I hope you guys will enjoy them, and I look forward to seeing you next time.